unstoppable kick-ass confidence. Are you ready?
Welcome to the Raw and Unscripted Show with Christopher Rausch, where we help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. Now please welcome our host, Christopher Rausch.
And please welcome our host, Christopher Rausch. What's going on, rock stars? Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Raw and Unscripted Show with yours truly, Christopher Rausch, your no excuses coach, and you're at your place where I help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. Welcome if you're a returning viewer or listener. And thank you guys so much for helping us be a top 10% rated podcast in the world. I'm excited about what 2025 has to bring and my continued evolvement in making this podcast the best value for your time. So here's the deal, guys. When you show up, my full intention is for you to walk away with at least 3 strategies that you can implement in your life. And then you come back 7 days later and you implement another 3. And compounded over time, you start to build your confidence. You start to build your resiliency. You start to let go of the excuses. You start to let go of the negative self-talk that holds so many guys and girls behind. That's the deal. So we've been going now for 6 years. We're on podcast number 309. So there are no shortages, or is no shortages, depending on how you want to think about that, of content that will change your life. Why? How do I know this? Because it is everything that I've applied in my life that I've learned over 50 years of living. Let's just say that. And all of my mentors and masterminds and coaches and courses and school and life, all these different things are designed to get you to move your ass into the greatness that you deserve so you don't regret it later on in life. That's the crux of it. Raw and unscripted means that everything is from the heart. I do a little bit of planning, but a lot of it is from the heart, and that is where I find the magic happens. Because so oftentimes we live in our brain and we want things to be perfect. I was just coaching somebody here recently about that. The idea, when it's perfect. I'm like, there is no perfection. There is only imperfection. And the sooner we realize and take action on imperfection and we actually learn and grow as we do it, that's when we really start to make strides in our life. And I'm living proof of it as somebody who went from a 7th grade homeless dropout to earning my master's degree, having a phenomenal success in career and in leadership and everything else, and also being a coach and a speaker and a podcaster and an author and all these different things in my life, including being a dad and a husband. There is no shortage of what it is that you can do in your life that you can accomplish. Right? Today is the day that we decide we're no longer going to hold ourselves back. And one of the big contributing factors in our life is stress. And that's what tonight's episode is about. That's what today's episode is about. Depending on where you're at in the world, it is all about stress. And there is no shortage of stress. By the way, this is just you and me, guys, tonight. There is no guest. It's more of what you asked for. When I asked what you wanted to see in 2025, you said more of Chris, less guest. And that's what we're doing. So tonight we're talking about stress. So I encourage you, whether you're live or on the replay, if you're watching the video cast, feel free to chime in with questions. Feel free to chime in with interjections and whatnot. And I'll put them up on the screen here and we'll have a conversation together. If you're listening to us on the podcast, listening to us on the podcast, yes, I can eloquently speak, then feel free to listen to this again and take notes if you're driving, but let's just jump right into the conversation. So again, it's about stress. And to be honest with you, you guys asked for this. You guys said, hey, Chris. And I said, hey, what are some of the episodes you guys want me to talk about? Is stress. But before we even get started on that, in case you missed it last week, for once in a blue moon, I did a replay last week. I was thoroughly exhausted and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give myself a week to kind of chill out, be with my family. And so I went back and looked at my statistics of both the video cast on YouTube and also the podcast on the various different platforms it's on, which is everywhere. And I found that there was a common denominator in the episode that I had. I think it was episode number 78 originally, but we played it last week. Nina is an amazing individual. If you did not get a chance to listen or watch that episode, I highly, highly encourage you. Even to this day, when people watch the replay, they're just like, man, she is powerful. And I've had a lot of people say that about a lot of my guests, but Nina is truly quite unique. And I won't give any much more of it away, but there was killing involved. She has survived a shitload and her attitude is amazing. Her resiliency is amazing. And there is no way that you can't walk out of that conversation feeling inspired, feeling educated, feeling empowered about no matter whatever you've been through in your life, that you can rise above it and you can change the trajectory of your life no matter where you're at, no matter what you've been through. That is the crux of that. So I highly encourage you to go back and listen to that episode, and let's just jump right into it now. So what is stress? Right? When I was thinking about this, like, what is stress to me? And let's think about it from an organic standpoint. Stress really is overwhelm. Like when we're overwhelmed, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling stressed. And when you dig a little bit deeper onto that or into that subject, we get into uncertainty. So really, when you think about stress, what is stress? Stress is uncertainty. Am I going to be able to pay my bills? Am I going to be able to deal with this person? Am I going to be able to get the weight that I need to get? Am I going to be able to beat this disease? A lot of it revolves around uncertainty. And we often have this negative self-talk, like I said before, in our minds about stress. Oh, I can't handle the stress. Oh, I can't handle being overwhelmed. Oh, I can't take this anymore. We already write the script in our brain about what it is that we can handle and what we can't. So when we think about this, I think about it as stress is leverage for us to change. Right? That means sometimes in life, we get a little tap on the shoulder from God's source universe. We get a little tap on the shoulder, then we get a little nudge on the shoulder, then we get a little shove on the shoulder. And then sometimes we get smacked across the face because we have not yet learned what it is that we need to learn about that particular situation. And that sometimes is overwhelm. Sometimes that's stress. And a lot of times it is self-created by the negative self-talk in our brain. So we need to break that cycle. But also sometimes stress is that indicator of something that we need to ascend to, that we need to sit in that moment and say, you know what, instead of like, why is this happening to me? Instead, reframing that to say is, why is this happening for me? And one of the greatest questions you can ask, and I'm going to give this right away at the beginning, is what am I supposed to be learning from this? Is this a pattern that I am repeating over and over again, whether it's relationships, whether it's career, whether it's financial, whether it's health? Oftentimes we're repeating a pattern or a behavior, hoping, wishing, and praying to have different results. And so oftentimes that leverage will be created in our life for us to make that shift that ultimately will get us out of that situation. Right? When you think about your life, how many times has it been a stressful situation, an overwhelming stress situation, a situation you didn't think you were going to be able to solve or get out of, that caused you to rise above and to find strength and resiliency and problem solving that you never knew you had before? Right? So when I think about stress, I think about it in terms of fight, flight, or freeze. Right? Either we're going to fight our way through it, we're going to flight, we're going to escape, or we're going to freeze. But you know what the action is for us or what the desire is for us to sit there and pause and reflect and not react to the situation, but proactively script out what the ultimate solution or what the ultimate outcome is, what we desire that outcome to be, right? So visualizing in our brain to say, okay, this is a stressful situation. I'm having this situation with a coworker, right? And I'm frustrated and they keep doing the same thing over and over again. And I just don't know how much more I could take. I feel like I'm going to blow up on this person. That's writing the script in one way, because you're almost giving yourself permission to have that situation happen. Like, I told myself that I was just going to blow up and lose my shit. The same thing works in the positive. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. What I want to talk about, what stress isn't. Stress isn't the end of the world. And I find so many people feel that they're in that stressful situation, that state of overwhelm. They're on that heightened awareness that they think it's the end of the world, or they give themselves the opportunity to blame or to retreat or to give an excuse. There's just so much uncertainty in the world, Chris, right now. I just can't focus on my health, or I have so much money problems that I just can't focus on my relationship. So you're writing that script in your brain to sit there and predetermine what it is that you find acceptable to have as the outcome. But think about what's going on right now in the world. And this is why I think this is a really timely topic. There's a lot of stress around politics. Whether you're for the candidate that's in the presidential office, or you're against them, or you're for the policies or against the policies, there's a lot of stress, right? If you watch the news, which I highly encourage you not to, right? I was a news watcher and I was a political observer, and I was stressed out a lot of the time, because again, when you go back to the core of what stress is that uncertainty. And so oftentimes we're bothered by uncertainty. Why? Because we don't think we have the confidence to be able to get through it. So a lot of things that are involving stress right now involve politics, right? How much control do you really have over what the president does and doesn't? Elon Musk, anybody else, the Dodge Department, whatever else the fuck is going on. How much control do you have over that? Chris, I don't have much control. So why are you allowing it to overtake your self-esteem? Why are you allowing it to overtake your relationships personally and professionally? Why are you allowing it to stress you out in traffic with people you don't even know? You're allowing that uncontrollable situation in your life to have an impact on you. Now tell me, when did it become acceptable for you to allow outside influences to dictate how you are going to feel? When did that become acceptable? Maybe it became a habit when you were a kid and you just could continue that process now into adulthood. But in this broadcast and in this conversation tonight, I invite you to suspend that belief and really realize that you get to figure out how you're going to feel and respond to situations. And you're going to get to plan and decide for yourself, am I going to allow the weather to impact my personal enjoyment of life? Am I going to really allow, whether it's a hot day or a cold day or a windy day or whatever it is, am I going to allow that to predict how I feel about life? And so many times say, oh, it's going to be so hot today. It's going to be miserable. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. How about, it's a beautiful fucking day to be alive. And I'm so glad to be breathing. And speaking of that, a lot of people are stressed out about the climate. You look at the younger generation right now, and there is some definite fear about whether or not they should even have kids if the world's going to be here tomorrow. Like we see all these movies, these blockbuster movies done in Hollywood and whatnot. And oftentimes they seem to be a precursor to what people think is going to be the reality that's going to happen. And there are some people that think that the world's going to disintegrate and we need to live on a spaceship out in the ether, or we need to live underground, right? How much impact do you have on that? You do have an impact in the climate of what you produce as far as carbon emissions and things of that nature. And you can become an advocate and you can become that. But also at the same time, let's just be real honest. How much can I do as one person? What I can do as one person is I can decide that climate is a big issue, and I'm not going to take that for granted. Yet, how much can I really impact in a world of 8 billion people? And perhaps I need to trust that shit's going to work out the way that it needs to work out, right? And there's not a lot we can do. But what I can do is I can do this. I can enjoy these moments. I can determine that I'm not going to allow the fuck's the word I'm looking for? Experiences outside of myself and outside of my control to dictate how I'm going to live my life. You got people putting their entire life on hold. Let's see what happens with the climate. Let's see what happens with the presidential election. Let's see what happens with this broadcast. And this show is all about you living your best moments now, speaking better to yourself now, handling situations better now, becoming that best version of yourself now. And stop running away from your responsibilities and the things that will make you stronger. Because listen, it's not going to go away. Your weight's not going to go away. Your health's not going to go away. Your money problems aren't going to go away. Your relationship problems aren't going to go away until you stand tall and address it and say, you know what? I'm not going to fucking allow that anymore. I'm not going to accept that as my method of operation. I'm not going to allow that stress to go over me anymore. So the real thing that you can ask yourself in a stressful situation is, how much control or influence do I have over that situation that I feel is causing me the stress? What is it about the uncertainty that I find, what's that word I'm looking for? I'm having a problem with my words today. Stifling, right? Sometimes we feel stifled by the stress and we feel like paralyzed. Chris, I can't do anything. I just feel like I'm helpless. Well, what's the one thing that you can do? And you guys have heard me say this, and if you haven't, this is golden. What's the one thing I can do by which doing so will allow me the greatest opportunity to reduce my stress? What's the one thing I can do by which doing so will help me develop the strength and the courage to face the fears that I haven't yet? Right? What's the one thing? And then do that one thing. And maybe that one thing wasn't the one thing, but it leads you to the next thing, the next thing that leads you to the next thing. And then all of a sudden you have stacked things in your life that give you a greater opportunity to handle the stress when it comes your way, right? But so oftentimes we take, I tried that one thing, and I tried that one thing, and I tried that one thing. And tonight I'm going to give you a list of a bunch of things that you can do and you can implement in your life. Because for me, in my 56 years on breathing on this earth, Sure, there was a lot of times where I didn't handle stress well. But I can say this honestly, because I learned how to handle stress at a very young age, and uncertainty and ambiguity and volatile people, because I chose to learn that at an early age, I have been able to manage my stress pretty well in my life. Granted, there was a period where alcohol was a factor in my stress reduction, because I'd have a couple of drinks and my stress level would drop and I'd feel better and I'd be like, all right, let's go. But then I started to realize that the alcohol was just an escape. And like, okay, what would life be like if I didn't drink for 3 months? What would life be like if I didn't drink for 2 months? What would life be like when I quit drinking for a year from 2023 to 2024? And still, I barely drink. I just have beer now every once in a while. It's like, 1 or 2 or no big deal. Not like the half bottle or the bottle of Jack Daniels I was drinking before. So let's talk about this, how we can handle stress. And the first thing I'm going to give you is very, very powerful. Because again, so often times we look at all the times we failed at handling stress. I remember that time when I did this. Remember that time I did that. Remember that time I did this. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take out pen and paper, because I'm a fan of pen and paper, right? You got order on Amazon some pads of paper. Right? Where's my other one? So you can go little ones like this, which I kind of dig, or you can do the big ones. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write out all the things in your life that you survived. I survived being born. I survived my childhood. I survived this thing. I survived that thing. I survived that ex-wife. I survived that terrible relationship. I survived that abduction. I survived this. What is it that you can do? Sorry, I have a hair in my mouth. I have 5 cats. List out the things that you've accomplished and the things that you have become stronger at. Wow, I've become stronger at negotiating. I've become stronger at saying my piece. I've become stronger at removing tolerations from my life. I've become stronger at reducing or eliminating the excuses in my life. Write it down. Write down what a badass you are, because oftentimes we don't give ourselves the credit of the things that we've already accomplished in our life. And when we look back at it and we start writing things down, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, I entered an Ironman. Oh yeah, I did a 5-mile bike ride. Oh yeah, I stopped eating sugar for 75 days. Oh yeah, oh my God, I did work out twice a day for 75 days when I did 75 hard. Oh yeah, I was able to work 3 jobs at one time and make my bills. Oh yeah, I have asked for help. Whatever it might be in your life, list that shit out. And don't be shy, because every time I've done that with a coaching client, they have come back and said, you know what, Chris, I didn't realize how much of a badass person I was. Or sometimes they say a kick-ass person, because of my branding or that. So make a list of the situations and the challenges and the things that you've overcome. Wow, I went back to school and got my degree. Oh my God, I got 3 promotions in 2 years. Oh my God, I got out of a terrible relationship that was abusive mentally and physically and spiritually. Whatever it might be, list that shit out. Oh my God, you know what? I stopped being a pack rat. Whatever it might be for you, make a list of that. And then keep that somewhere handy for a little while and just remind yourself and just think, is there something else that I possibly missed? And then front end tell yourself, be proactive. You know what? I'm a resilient motherfucker. Anything that comes my way, I'm going to stand tall, and I'm going to realize that it's happening for me and it's happening to make me a stronger person. And perhaps it's just the test or the thing that I need in my life that's going to get me to the other side, that where I can look back and say, holy shit. Not that I want to repeat that situation again, but holy shit, I'm so glad that happened, because it helped me become a better person. It helped me become a stronger person. Because let's be honest, when you look back on your life, when have you grown and changed the most? When things were easy or when things were challenging? I know you're all thinking, fuck, when things are challenging, Chris, I hate to say that. That's true. So if you're going through some challenge in your life right now that you're ignoring, or you're hoping will go away, or you're wishing for a quick solution, right? Oh, if I only won the lottery. How many times do you play the lottery? 3 times a year. How's that going to work out for you, right? How about let's do this? Take the R word, responsibility, and start proactively saying better things to yourself. That's what I do as a coach, is I help you guys talk better to yourselves and talk differently to yourselves, and to change the wiring of the past beliefs of who you might be, right? Think about that. What if I thought higher of myself? What if on a scale of 1 to 10, I think about myself in terms of a 6 right now? How would I act? And what would I do if I felt a confidence level of 8, 9, or 10? What might I be capable of? What things would I do? What risks would I take if I knew that no matter what happened, I would either learn from it, I would achieve it, or maybe it wasn't meant to happen? Let's think of things in terms of proactiveness, and let's front end load ourselves for success. And that's really what stress is. It's a reaction or it's a response. Okay, we have a situation. Like people used to come into my office like, Chris, we have a problem. Like, nope, we have an opportunity. Right? We have an opportunity. This financial situation is an opportunity. This relationship situation is an opportunity. This clutter is an opportunity. This health is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for me to fucking see what a raging monster I could possibly be if I got myself in the gym and I started eating better. And I mean raging monster in a good way, not obviously a bad way. So we got any people with us tonight? I haven't checked the comments. What's up, Robert Broker? Robert's in the house. What's up? He says, hi, Christopher and Tim. We got Mark Gassard in the house. What's up, buddy? Saying shared. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Tim Gillette in the house. Oh my God. If I only knew what I was, if you only knew what I was going through when seeing this post. I did see your post earlier talking about that you are going through some overwhelming times and things are challenging. So Tim, I'm always here for you. You know that, bro. We go way back to Rocker Life Coach, to the old rock star days. We'll just say that. I know you were just in Nashville, I think, with that certain individual. So hope everything was great, but I'm here for you, bro. You know, and this conversation came at the right time for you. So I hope you tuned in from the beginning. If you didn't, go back and check that part out because it's all really, really good stuff that's lending upon itself. So thank you, brother, for being here. Feel free to ask me any questions, guys. This is a conversation with me tonight. I'm live. I'm sitting here kicking it in my studio. My son's downstairs. So this is a conversation with you about stress. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a list of all the tough situations that you've addressed and you've overcome to become that person who you are today. And right now, when you think about being stressed or being overwhelmed, write it down. Write it down. Don't just sit there and battle it around in your brain, right? Because we're going to tend to make things a little bit bigger than they usually are. So what is it specifically that I'm stressed out about? I'm stressed out about finances. Okay, what is the situation with finances? Be honest with yourself. I'm $35,000 in debt. I'm $100,000 in debt. Whatever it is that might be for you. Okay, be specific. What is the exact thing that is stressing me out? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Okay, what is one thing that I can do by which doing so that will help me feel like I've got my mind together a little bit more? And so if you guys have been following me for any length of time or you're just checking me out, 5. And I cannot stress this enough. Stress, get it. 5, hydration. So I'm going to go slower on this. Hydration, drink half your body weight in ounces of water a day. I cannot tell you. It still blows my mind every time when I ask somebody who's in a challenging situation, who's overwhelmed, they're stressed, they look terrible, whatever it might be. How much water do you drink a day? You know what, Chris? I don't drink water. Okay. How much do you think percentage-wise your body is water? Well, I think I've heard something like 30% or something like that. I'm like, no, it's more like 80, 85%. As I take a drink of water. So half your body weight in ounces of water every single day. Right? Oh, Chris, I mean, people used to say drink a gallon of water, but drinking half your body weight in ounces of water a day, you're hydrating the machine, right? And I'll give you an excellent example. If I walked up to you and handed you the keys to a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or an Aston Martin, whatever, would you seriously take it to the Econo Lube and have the oil changed and put shitty gas in it? Or would you put the top of the line? Would you put the best in it? And the same thing goes for your body. And it still blows my mind. Still blows my mind that people are operating at a 4 or a 5 or a 3, yet they have expectations of having a 10 relationship, a 10 career, a 10 business, a 10 body, a 10 whatever it is, yet they're not putting the right fuel or the right ingredients into their body to create that outcome. It is not complicated. I promise you. Hydration, drink half your body weight in ounces of water. Don't just do it for a couple of days. Do it for a couple of weeks. And simultaneously maybe give up alcohol and give up sugar. Oh my God, Chris, you're being so serious. Yeah. How about putting different shit into your body for an extended period of time and then realize, wow, when I feel better, guess what? I'm not so reactionary to the stress. Hey, guess what? When I don't drink 7 cups of fucking coffee a day because I need it, which is bullshit, maybe I wouldn't be so jittery. Maybe I wouldn't be so bad. Maybe if I made sure the second thing is sleep, I'm pointing to my Oura ring for you guys listening on the podcast, pay attention to your sleep. It is not a fucking badge of honor to sit there and say, oh, I only get 4 hours of sleep, or I only get 3 hours of sleep, or, you know, Chris, my sleep has always been shitty. So tell me what you've done to better your sleep. Well, I really don't know. I lay my head on the pillow and I go to sleep. Okay, put it to the Google, put it to the chat, put it to the YouTube, and say how to improve my sleep. And then how about this? For the next 6 weeks, every single week, do one thing and keep record of it and say, okay, this week I'm going to increase my water and I'm going to reduce my caffeine. I'm not going to have any caffeine after 1 o'clock. It blows my mind. People have caffeine at 5 o'clock and they still try to go to sleep and they say they get shitty sleep. How about not picking up a device or a white screen an hour to 2 hours before you go to sleep? There's tons and tons of things that are out there about your sleep. And how do I know this? Because I biohacked sleep for a year because my sleep was shitty. And so the advice I give you was the advice I've had to take for myself. And that's how I've come up with the 5. So hydration, sleep, right? You get better sleep. You wake up, you feel refreshed. I used to go to sleep exhausted and wake up tired. But when you go to sleep and you wake up refreshed and you don't feel as burnt out and you don't feel as fried and you don't feel blah, 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 like, oh, I need coffee to get myself going in the morning. You really don't. Like if you get a decent amount of sleep and you get some hydration and you get some nutrition and you do a couple of things for yourself, guess what? You don't. And it may take some time for your body and your nerve endings and everything to rewire itself. So give it some time. But think about this, like how much different could my life be in 6 months if I take Chris's advice right now? And it's not going to be overnight. So when you think about that, so you got hydration, then you got sleep. So I use an Oura ring, OURA, I think that's what it is. And I spent some money on it. And guess what? First thing I do when I wake up in the morning, besides saying what I'm grateful for and setting my intention for the day, which is, by the way, another great way to reduce your stress. I think we're going to talk about that. Is like taking better care of yourself. Like just literally taking better care of yourself. So you get better sleep, you get deep sleep. Right. I know the nights that I don't get deep sleep, when I wake up in the morning and I look at that and I'm like, oh, geez, what caused my deep sleep to only be, 10 minutes or 20 minutes when usually I get about an hour and a half? That's that deep restorative sleep. And usually it happens at the beginning of your sleep cycle. When your body temperature drops, that's when you're able to go to sleep. When your heart rate drops. So if you're eating a bunch of shit before you go to sleep and your heart rate's like 75 beats per minute or 80 beats per minute and you're trying to go to sleep, guess what? And then you're tossing and turning and your brain is going, and then you're like, oh, my sleep is going to be shitty. And then you stare at the clock and you do the math. You guys feel me? Right? So hydration, sleep. So track your sleep, use something. Jesus Christ, use something. Exercise. Exercise is massive. Right? I've been working out since I was 18 years old. That's where I found the magic key to be able to handle my stress. Not only to look good, to feel good, but for my mental clatter, to get in there and work it out and to do another rep and to crank the weight up just a little bit more and push myself so that I walk out of there feeling proud. I walk out of there feeling a little bit tired. When I go to bed tonight, did I have a good workout today? Me personally, yeah, I've been riding my bike now. So I went and rode 6.5 miles. And I'm working my way back up to 10 miles, then 15 miles, then 25 miles. And then I'm working myself back up to 50 miles. Because guess what? When I looked at when I was making the best decisions and really vibrating the best in my life, it was back when I used to ride my bike. Why? Because getting out on the bike gives me an opportunity to listen to the music and to enjoy nature and to be one-on-one with myself and to push myself. But again, going to the gym, going for a walk, anything that gets your heart rate going and gets you able to focus and like channel that aggression and that frustration and that fear into bettering yourself, right? This is all about taking those incremental steps to better yourself. So chances are, if you're stressed out and overwhelmed and feeling disempowered, you're probably not taking care of yourself. You're probably drinking more. You're probably eating like shit. You're probably hanging around people, bitch, pissing, moaning about life or how fucked up everything is, whatever it might be. Think about that. So you got that exercise. And I highly recommend at least 5 days a week. For me, I probably do about 7, but they're broken up into family activities. And some days, like last weekend, I was pretty fucking lazy. And sometimes I give myself that pass to, hey, we're just going to chill out on the couch and watch movies and documentaries and sometimes eat bad shit. Last week, I had 3 Krispy Kreme donuts. What else did I have? I had some other shit, but I allowed myself that. But back to the conversation here about handling stress and overwhelm. So we got those 3 things. We got sleep, hydration, exercise. The next thing is nutrition. What am I putting into my body? Again, are you a Ferrari? Are you a fucking Pinto? And if you don't know what a Pinto is, Google that shit. It was a nasty car back in the 70s. What are you? Like, really, who are you? Are you just a survivor? Are you just a guy that's just trying to make it, just trying to figure it out, just trying to get to the next day? Or are you an empowered motherfucker who says, you know what, I'm not going to tolerate the same shit from myself that I have in the past. And no matter what I'm going through right now, I'm going to choose to rise above it because Chris said I'm able to. And you know what? I'm going to fucking listen to Chris every single day because he's got 309 podcasts that if I got through and I continue to listen to every single day, just how fucking inspired would I be? How different would my results be? And I'm not just saying that for me. Listen to all sorts of people. I listen to all sorts of people. I was just watching a podcast earlier. My new little infatuation is a guy named Chris Williamson. He's a podcaster from the UK. He lives in Austin, Texas now. I dig him. The CEO Diary. Steve, can't remember, Steve Bartlett, I think it is. I'm constantly watching successful people, and success leaves clues. Right. So think about that. Let me grab a couple of these comments. What's up? Mark Gassard in the house says, take the long cut as the shortcut is not real. The long cut is a true opportunity. Amen, brother. I love the way you say that. It's so true. And I know you've been through your shit and your challenges. We met during COVID. So thank you, Mark from Peachtree, Georgia. Says no water. Wow. How does one do that? Trust me, dude. I find people that drink Dr. Pepper like it's the fucking cure cancer. Like, oh, I have like 6 Dr. Peppers a day. I'm like, have you ever seen what that shit can do to metal? I mean, like, really? Like, your body's water, not Diet Pepper, not Diet Dr. Pepper or Pepsi or coffee. You need that hydration. You need some really good water. I drink water. I drink probably a gallon of it a day. People wonder, like, oh my God, Chris, your skin. You're like, for 56 years old. I'm like, whatever. Mark also says here, sleep is a good thing and we all need it. Dude, we more than need it, right? I used to live on that. Oh, I got 4 hours of sleep. You know, I was the first one here, the last one to leave, all that good shit. Guess what happened? I allowed the stress and the overwhelm. Even though I was going to the gym, I was doing one part. I was drinking water then, but the other parts of the 5, which I'm going to finish here in a second, the other parts weren't so stable. So guess what? I was running to my short-term gratifications. And then I was like a badge of honor, like, oh, I'm working this job and I've got the speaking gig and I've got this and I'm doing that and and I could do more in a day than most people do in a week. It's still the fucking fact at 56 years old. And I'm proud to say that. But I got to a point where I woke up one day and I literally thought I got pushed off a 2-story building and landed flat on my back. Like every part of my body hurt. My toes hurt, my fingers hurt, my fingernails hurt, my eyebrows hurt. And I was like, wow, this is a fucking weird day. And it continued and it continued and it continued. And I'm like, oh, maybe I've got the flu. Maybe I'm sick. No signs presented itself except for the fact that I was thoroughly exhausted. And no matter what caffeine pill I took or energy pill I took or whatever it is, nothing changed it. So I went to the doctor and he said, let's run some blood labs. And I said, let's do. And then they came back and they said, you have what's called chronic fatigue syndrome. And I said, what's that? And they said, basically you burned out your adrenal glands. And I said, let's talk about those. What are those? And this was in my 40s, I believe. 40, somewhere right around there. And I said, cool, what pill do I have to take? Because I want to keep going. Let's, tape it and race it. Let's go. And they're like, Chris, no, you don't understand. Like your adrenal glands have stopped producing. Like you need to rest. You need to take a look at what's in your life. And so I say all of this from experience, and I had to stop. And I had to start taking better care of myself. That's when I started biohacking sleep. And like, okay, how do I get better sleep? That's not a badge of honor to say I'm only getting 4 hours sleep. What do I need to do? Oh, I could take melatonin. Oh, I could take magnesium. Oh, I can stop looking at my phone. Oh, I can read a book. Oh, I can meditate. Oh, I can, go for a walk. Oh, I could drink some more milk, whatever it might be. So I got intentional about being healthier and not allowing that stress and that overwhelm to kill myself, because I asked myself, would it be worth it as a badge of honor to be able to die early to validate my existence and tell everybody how great I was? No, it wasn't. And so what I also started doing at that point is I started taking a look at what I was putting into my body, because at that point I thought I could eat whatever I wanted and still be in great shape. But as you get older and you start looking at your blood test and your cholesterol creeps up a little bit, your blood pressure creeps up a little bit, you start realizing all those minute decisions over time are starting to build results. And so we get to a point in our life where we can sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to turn those results around. And that's what I did. And so I reluctantly, as much as I didn't want to, I started eating more vegetables, because I said I didn't like vegetables. Oh, I hate broccoli. I hate this. I hate that. And guess what? I started saying things differently. I want to put into my body what is going to provide nutrients so that I can feel better, so I can make better decisions, so I can be a better human being. changed what it is that I was saying to myself, right? What are you saying to yourself? Oh my God, I'm so stressed out and I can't handle it. Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed and I'm so sick and tired of it. Or are you saying you're a badass motherfucker that is going to rise to this challenge? What do I need to do? What do I need to change about my habits and my routines and my mindset in order to get different results? The next thing on the 5. So we got hydration, nutrition, sleep, exercise. For me, I think that was hydration, nutrition, sleep, exercise, and vitamin D. So for me, the vitamin D is part and parcel with supplements. But what I found out for myself, even though I was getting daily sunshine, is I found that I was vitamin D deficiency. I also found out I was potassium deficient and I was magnesium deficient. A lot of times we don't get enough of those nutrients. So I took a vitamin deficiency test, which I actually need to do again, to be honest with you. I haven't done that in a couple of years. Used to do it every year. But I found out I was deficient, started taking a vitamin D supplement. Guess what? Started feeling better. You feel better. You make better decisions. You don't react to situations. You respond to situations. You think about things carefully and not instantaneously. You don't have a sense of dire. You have a sense of hope and opportunity and a sense of resiliency because, again, thinking about the list that you made about what it is that you've accomplished, I promise you, you've accomplished and overcome so much more than you can actually realize. So give yourself some time and do that exercise. I highly encourage everybody in your family does it, and you guys share it with one another and you build each other up and you make it a promise to yourself to say, hey, in 30 days, let's find something else that we're proud of. What else can I be proud of in 30 days? I can be proud of the fact that I didn't eat any sugar. I can be proud of the fact that I didn't eat any wheat or gluten. I can be proud of the fact that I didn't ingest any alcohol. I can be proud of the fact that I increased my intake of water to be half of my body weight in ounces of water. I can talk about, that my sleep has improved and now I'm tracking it, whatever it might be for you. You can get a vitamin deficiency test every single month. Challenge your family. What's the one thing that you're proud of that you've done this month that helps you become a more resilient person? Just digest that for a second. How many of you mother truckers out there that are listening in 33 plus countries do that with your family? Or do you get together and complain about what's not right and what you need and what's missing? And we'll be happy when we have this house. We'll be happy when we have this money. We'll be happy when we have this car. We'll be happy when we have this furniture. We'll be happy when we have this vacation. What are you doing? Are you building yourself up for success, or are you building yourself down, tearing yourself down for misery and complacency and mediocrity? That's what I'm doing here, is I'm getting you to shift your perspective on that. Because when you do that, when you write out the things that you've accomplished in your life, when you start taking better care of yourself with the 5, hydration, nutrition, sleep, exercise, and vitamin D, supplements, and overall, I take a whole bucket of supplements. I can show you right now. It's a whole Tupperware container. It's like this big. I have I have 3 different pill containers. I have a nighttime one, I have a morning one, and I have an afternoon one of all the different supplements that I take because I care. And I put into my body, and I'm not perfect. I'm not making myself out to be a fucking an astronaut or anything. I'm just me, but I'm constantly 1% looking for that edge, like quitting drinking. I woke up one day and I said in October of 2023, I said, what would it be like if I didn't drink for an entire year? If you guys know me, I was a party animal. Fucking drink 4 or 5 Jacks just to mellow out, just to be like everybody else. Much less half a bottle and still be okay. What would it be like if I didn't drink for a whole fucking year? Oh my God, that is actually kind of scary because a lot of things I do involve drinking. Well, maybe I don't need to do that anymore. Maybe at 55 years old or 54 years old, whatever it was, maybe it's a good time for me to stop. My kidneys and my liver are great. No fatty liver, nothing like that. But what would happen at 57 if I went to the doctor and they said, hey, you're developing fatty liver disease. Hey, go to the doctor. Your kidneys aren't processing as well. Hey, go to the doctor. Your pancreas looks a little inflamed. What would it be for you? So for me, I was like, you know what, let me do this. And quite honestly, it was one of the most challenging things I did until I realized that it wasn't something I was doing. It was who I was becoming. Think about that for a second. It's not what it is that you're doing in all of this that I talk about every single week. Who am I becoming? Am I becoming a resilient motherfucker who doesn't get knocked down? Or if he gets knocked down, he gets the fuck back up and says, hey, is that all you got? Is that all you got? Right? What is it for you? So thinking about things, Think about this in terms of sentences. Like, so oftentimes I'm stressed out because, but instead of that, say, you know what? I've been given an opportunity to find strength and resiliency in what I put into my body. I've been given an opportunity to become more aware of what it takes to get great sleep. I have been given an opportunity to reduce one excuse from my life. And that is, I don't have time to take care of myself, which a lot of people say, you know what, Chris, you don't understand. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I'm like, how can Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who also has 24 hours a day, how can he do what he does? Oh, he has handlers, he has this. No, he makes it a fucking priority. You need to make yourself a priority. In case nobody's told you that, you do. In case you're new to the show, you do. You need to make you number one, and everybody else comes after that. Oh my God, Chris, you don't understand. My kids are number one. My husband's number one. My mom's number one. Right? And so oftentimes we don't put ourselves first. And I found this out during COVID by asking people, hey, do you love yourself? Yes or no? And I found a lot of people didn't love themselves. And yet they had the expectation that they were a stud, or they should be a stud, or they should be a studette, whatever it is for your persuasion. Right? And so oftentimes we have the actions that we're taking not be congruent with the expectations that we have. And so that difference between what we're doing and what we expect, that space is called frustration. It's called disappointment. It's called self-rejection. It's called whatever it is that you want to put in there. But the only person that can change it is you. The only individual is the person that's staring back at you in the mirror in the morning. So I encourage you to go up to that mirror and be like, listen, motherfucker, you're a bad bitch. You're going to fucking do it today. I don't care what it takes. You're going to go to the gym today. You're going to walk a little bit farther today. You're going to ride a little bit further today. You're going to push in the gym a little bit more. And it's that 1% every fucking day. And it's not a lot. It's that 1%. I'm going to get a little bit better sleep. I'm going to drink a little bit more water. I'm going to eat a little bit better. I'm saying a little bit, right? I'm going to get me some vitamin D. I'm going to start saying better things to myself. I'm going to start recognizing my accomplishments. Compounded daily. 3 months. Oh my shit. I'm starting to fucking be aware that I was feeling like shit. Oftentimes we don't know how bad we're feeling until we get out of that cycle of insanity. Think about that. You don't know how bad you're feeling right now. I've had people have stents put in their hearts and like, oh my God, Chris, I thought I was okay. And I was a little sluggish, but now that I've got my blood flowing, now I feel fucking incredible. I'm like, yeah, you weren't paying attention. You were running from the doctor. You didn't get your test done. Right? So get the test done, get the blood test done. You can even order your own blood test online now. If your doctor doesn't want to give you whatever it is, a full thyroid panel, and you think you have a thyroid issue, order a full thyroid panel. Fucking, there's online doctors that'll discuss it with you. And if they come up with a different idea than your current doctor does, get a different fucking doctor, right? Go to an expert, spend the money, seek the wisdom, make the change. You can do it. Fill your fucking cup first. What's Mark saying here? What's up, Mark? What's up, Mark? I appreciate you, brother, so much. He says, hydration, sleep, workout, nutrition, supplements. Love you, brother. Thanks for sharing. We all need to work on ourselves. The accountability mirror tells no lies. Yes, Mr. Gassert. Yes. So what is something that you would throw into the conversation that perhaps I haven't mentioned yet that you believe would help people reduce their stress? So there's a challenge for you. I know you're watching live, so feel free to put it in the chitter chatter, and let me know. So thank you, brother, for being here. Mark also says, good point, Chris, about the drinking. There are way too many undercover functioning alcoholics out there. I was kind of one. My wife told me one day, she goes, you're a high functioning alcoholic. And I said, I am not any fucking label. I may be really good at what it is that I do, and I may have a choice to reduce that, but I am not an alcoholic. And so when I made that choice and that proclamation, I said, okay, what are some of the things that I am doing that might be perceived as an alcoholic? What are some of the things that I could do? What different choices can I make to lower that propensity for people to may misjudge me? And so I started doing that. I'm like, just because I know I can handle a bunch of sauce doesn't mean that other people think that. And maybe I need to change what it is that I'm doing to change that misperception, or maybe call myself out on my own bullshit, because we are really good at bullshitting ourselves. Right? Oh, we got Will in the house. What's up, man? Fucking Will Baptiste in the house. He's going to be on the show here probably in a couple of weeks. I got to reach out to you, brother, about doing the men's mental health roundtable. That is one you guys don't want to miss. I get a lot of people reaching out to me, and quite honestly, most of my clients are women. Most people that follow me on the TikTok, it's like fucking 99% women that follow me, and I don't know really why. The badass thing, right? And I'm kind of cute, I think. But yeah, so thank you, Will, for being here and mentioning that. And again, for you, the same thing. Anybody watching right now, whether you're live or on the replay, what is something that maybe I haven't suggested yet that you would recommend for somebody to reduce their stress? Right? We're never going to completely get rid of our stress, and the whole thing we're talking about here is how we can view our stress in a different way that is high functioning, that is opportunistic as opposed to pessimistic. So we talked about the 5. Another thing I look at with stress is just fucking attack it. Just attack it. It's not going to go away. It's not going to stop haunting you. But most importantly, here's something that may cause you to have your butt pucker, but ask for help. Ask for help. And the biggest thing you could do nowadays, your personal computer right in your phone. There is no excuse. I had somebody ask me this a couple of months ago, Chris, how do I get healthier? I want to lose some weight. What do you think I should do? And I said, I think you should fucking Google it and start doing that shit until you find what works for you. How about that? Go into ChatGPT, go into YouTube. There is literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours, information, training, whatever it is. There's courses on Udemy, Academy, school, no school, where the fuck it is. What I'm saying is there is the answers. The answers are there. So literally, if you don't know how to eat healthy, how to eat healthier, 6 ways to lose weight, 6 ways to get better in shape, 5 quick ways to improve my sleep. It is there, right? I'm hungry for answers. So I tend to really go down the rabbit hole for sleep. I biohack sleep for a while. Now I'm into lifelong longevity stuff. So I got this. I haven't started taking it yet, but I got it. Mentholate Blue. It's one of the biggest things people are recommending right now. So I got it, and I've been doing my research on it. I've also been taking NADA. So I've been going down a rabbit hole on longevity drugs, right? And it may not get me to 150, but hey, man, if it gets me to fucking 85 doing as good as I am now at 56, how badass would that be? So again, think about what it is that you can do for yourself, but attack it head on. Like if you got financial situations, it's not going to go away, but maybe what's one thing I could do? I can create a budget. And a lot of people don't have budgets. They don't want the reality of putting it down on paper and realizing, you know what, fuck, I make $5,000 a month and I spend $6,000 a month. Okay, what is a few things we don't need anymore? Maybe the animals don't need the top tier pet food. Maybe for a while we can cut that down. Maybe, we find out we waste a lot of bread. Maybe we stop eating bread and we just have whole grain tortillas or whatever it might be. What are some sacrifices you can make? What are some adjustments you can make? Hey, maybe I get a side gig hustling Amazon packages from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. Does it cut into your sleep? But maybe you go to sleep a little bit earlier. Maybe you take a bath before you go to sleep. Maybe you do that for a short period of time. You say, hey man, if I can increase my income by $50 a day for the next 6 months, that'll help me pay down 2 bills. And trust me, I've seen people go, oh, fuck, I didn't realize it was that easy, because I sat with them and said, okay, make a fucking budget. You don't need to share your numbers with me, but I need you to put down what it is that you spend money on. What's a reoccurring expense? And how many times, just for you guys out there with financial situations, how many times, and I point myself at the finger at this, how many times in the last 5 years have you shopped your auto insurance, your homeowner's insurance, and your renter's insurance, or whatever else? Have you actually shopped it and realized that maybe I could, fuck it, even if I just ask AAA, they might give me a $200 a year discount? Well, $200 a year isn't that much. Divided by 12. What does that break down? And every little bit helps. It's not going to be a magic cure for anything in your life, guys. But when you put forth the effort, you put forth that extra 1%, what is it that you can do? And what is it that you can accomplish? Right? I found a big improvement in my stress when I used to say, I have to go do this. I have to go do this. I have to go do this. I felt like self-imposed pressure. But when I changed, I have to I get to get up tomorrow morning and go lead a team of people that are badass, that do provide me challenges, but that I am growing upon and becoming a better person for having those challenges, right? See how that shift is? I get to raise my kids and have those challenges. I get to be the parent of a autistic kid. I get to deal with a wife that's got bipolar issues. And that's not true, but I get to. I've been chosen as the person that can handle this situation, yet I'm not giving myself the credit for that, right? That negative self-talk is so powerful. The two words I want you to include in your vocabulary are perhaps and possibly. Perhaps I would get out of financial ruins if I took a look and actually made a budget. Possibly, if I hired a financial advisor, and even though it would cost me money, in the long run, I would become more intelligent about my spending and about my income opportunities and my investing opportunities, that might be in 12 months, I can be in a different situation, right? You see how that feels? That feels so much better than, oh, I'm so fucked right now. Maybe you have a pity party for a couple hours, but then you sit there and you put your big pants on and you go on social media and go, hey, does anybody else out there use a financial planner? Does anybody out there have a financial investor? What did you start with? Or go to Google and say, how can I start investing with as little as $10 a month? What is that going to be? $10 a month sounds ridiculous, Chris. Maybe it is. Maybe that $10 turns into $20, that turns into $80, that turns into $150, that turns into $300. And then maybe you start investing that $300, and just like that 1% I'm talking about, that compound interest starts to deliver upon itself, and you start to feel better, and you start to do better, and you start to look back and you go, fuck, I am so glad I watched and I listened to that podcast with Chris that night, because I'm open and I'm aware. Again, going back to that resiliency, you're a resilient motherfucker. I don't care who you are or what you've been through. I don't care what anybody says. If your entire life you've been weak, today is the day that you get to decide that, fuck, I'm going to stand tall. I'm going to stand tall. Maybe I got to stop hanging around all the people that fucking put me down. Maybe. And is it going to suck? Yeah, I promise you it's going to suck. But on the other side of it, when you get to look back and see the things that you've overcome, like when you make that list, it is inspiring to think. Even for me, and I'll be shit honest with you guys, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and I kind of think about things in terms like, well, I think I've earned the right not to have any more problems in my life. But I know God, source, universe will bless me with another opportunity to sit there and say, oh, you know what, motherfucker, you think you got it? Let's see what you got with this. Because life will never stop handing you situations. But you get this opportunity to say, you know what? I'm going to set the example for my kid. I'm going to set the example for my wife. I'm going to set the example for my friends. I'm going to be inspirational to maybe a complete stranger. Maybe I'm going to start a YouTube vlog and share how I got myself out of the fucking mess that I'm in. How inspirational would that be? Right? It's crazy. Here's some other things that I just want to rattle off to you guys. Meditate. Like I do deep breathing. I do it pretty much every day during the week. I take a moment, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I listen to a book, or I meditate, or I do deep breathing exercise. It's free. You can go on Calm, the app. There's so much. Here's a crazy idea. What's the worst that can happen for my situation? And then plan for it and say, you know what, if that's the worst that fucking happens, guess what? If I file bankruptcy, so what? I start off with a fresh slate, and in 7 years, it'll be off my record. And I know people that had filed bankruptcy at the time back in the 2000s, and we're like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing, and I'm losing my house. And now, you know, it's 10 years later, 12 years later, whatever it might be. And they're like, Chris, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Right? When you think about a negative situation that you thought was fucking overwhelming and catastrophic, but now you look back and say, that was the thing that moved the needle on my health. That was the thing that moved the needle in my career. That was the thing that moved the needle in my business. It's pretty crazy, right? I want you guys to open the possibility. Here's another thing. Learn to say no. Maybe you're overwhelmed because you keep saying yes to everybody because you want everybody's validation. You want them to love and like you. How about just saying no? Like, what's one situation this week that I can say no to? Maybe I'm a yes person. Maybe I'm a people pleaser. Maybe, you know what? That stops right fucking now. How about that? So many other things. A big thing I like to do is I like to have a music playlist and a video playlist of things that inspire me. So I have a music playlist that I listen to. It's called In the Car. It's like songs that you want to drive to. If I put that music list and I go for a ride, I go for a walk, I go for a drive, pretty quickly I'm singing, pretty quickly I'm feeling better, and I'm getting that oxygen in my lungs. Comedy, like I can go, I listed them out: Burt Kreischer, Bill Burr, Crazy Cat videos, George Carlin, Robin Williams. I went through a period last week where I watched Robin Williams for about 2 hours. Fucking hell, I was laughing my ass off. You know what it reminded me? Don't lose the spontaneity of being funny in the moment just naturally. So when I saw that, I was pretty inspired. Watched George Carlin videos, went, fuck, everything that guy said was true. Even, 15, 20 years ago, it's still true to this day. And then big time, surrender it and let it go. Maybe you just surrender and say, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to figure it out right now, but guess what? Instead of being combative and negative and allowing myself to feel overwhelmed and withdrawn and all those other negative things and to feel like a victim, maybe, you know what? I'm just going to sit there and say, I'm going to surrender. I'm going to give myself a break on the news and the politics. I'm going to give myself a break on the negative people in my life. I'm going to start taking better care of myself. And I promise you, over a period of time, this is critical. You will get stronger. You'll get more resilient. You'll get more peaceful. You'll get stronger in knowing that if something does come your way, that you have the ability and the wherewithal to rely on maybe 5 strategies, 10 strategies in your life that you can go to. I can put a music playlist on. I can go for a workout. I can eat real healthy. I can have a cheat day. I can go to my therapist. I can go to my coach. I can go to my mastermind. I can go to whatever it might be. And I have people there that are going to listen to me, support me, but also call me out on my shit, which a lot of you guys don't have. So if you guys are interested, I have a group coaching program that holds you accountable. It's completely affordable. I do a horrible job of promoting it, but if you feel inspired by this conversation, reach out to me. I'll give you a free coaching session. We will rock it. And from this point forward, you can actually decide to own your life, or you can keep doing what you're doing and hope, wish, and pray that someday something changes. But I tell you what, nothing will change because the pressure will get too great. And then you'll ultimately have to do something, or you'll fucking regret it and you'll be pissed off at yourself for not doing it sooner, because most oftentimes people say, I wish I would have done it sooner. So you have it. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to talk 40 minutes, but there we go. We just went 58 minutes, something like that. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know a lot of you guys do on the East Coast. We got Will in the house. We got Mark Gassert. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you so much for being here. So much to do. So I'm going to be back again next week. Next week is April 1st, I believe. Is next week April 1st? I think so. Today is the 25th, 5 days, 30. I don't know. But anyways, keep tuning back here every single week. Join us live on the video cast. I would love to have you guys live on the video cast. And we're going to be having the men's health roundtable up pretty soon. We're going to probably do a 3-part series on that. So it'll be over 3 different weeks. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what conversations and topics you want me to have on here on the program by private messaging me, or put it in the chat, putting it in the feed, and we'll keep showing up here for one another, and we'll continue to raise the bar on just how unstoppable, how kick-ass, how badass we can all be for each other together as a family, as a community in the spinning blue marble in space. How about that shit? I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to go enjoy my moments with my kid. Thank you again for all the private messages that I get after each one of these podcasts, whether it's the audio podcast or the video podcast. Thank you for the follows and the shares on social media. Thank you guys for being you, the misfits for life of the Kick-Ass Nation. I love and appreciate you guys. I promise I'm going to continue to keep showing up here every single week, giving you the goods, giving you the knowledge, sharing in the experience with you guys, because we're in this together. All right. So go out there, be raw and unscripted. Go out there, be kick-ass unstoppable. We'll see you next time on the Raw and Unscripted Show. I love you guys.